particularly with children, that we give them a deep sense of meaning in their lives. Kumbaga, hindi lang puro laro, they have to see purpose and consequence. When I was mentoring my daughter Hannah, it was always about consequence. When she would ask things or we would discuss things, I will always tell her, remember the consequence of your action, your decision, and your plans, because every action will have a result, and the question is, will that result be good for you and good for others around you, or will it just be a waste of time or something you will regret having done? Okay, so that's our daily starter for today. And now let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. There you go. Today's front page, Duterte questions Sara's bid for vice president. President Rodrigo Duterte has expressed misgivings and questioned the decision of his daughter, former mayor and now vice presidential aspirant Sara Duterte Carpio, and suggested or hinted that perhaps the decision of Sara was not a decision she made, but was a decision made by the BBM or Bongbong Marcos group or party. And his justification for this thought or doubt is, why would someone who is leading in the polls much higher than Bongbong Marcos settle to be number two to Bongbong Marcos? Okay. So, yan po yung punot dulo. That is the beginning and the end of President Duterte's view on Sara Duterte's bid for the vice presidency. Of course, there will be many thoughts. Actually, I just got a call just before the program from someone deep within the realms of politics, saying the reason why Sara opted to run for vice president to Bongbong Marcos rather than to run for president, but have no choice in choosing who she would want as her vice presidential candidate. Kumbaga, mapipilitan lang siyang tanggapin yung hindi niya kursunada. Okay, let's go to the header of the Philippine Star. MSMEs told get government loans to pay 13th month. Secretary Bebot Bello of the Department of Labor and Employment has recommended, if not instructed, the small enterprises to go to the SB Corporation of the government and take out interest-free loans payable in 12 months, okay, within 12 months, to pay the 13th month pay of their employees if they are short on funds. Kumbaga, the 13th month pay is mandatory, it's by law, so there is no getting out of it. Now, if you don't have enough money, then iutang mo. Okay, medyo, I almost see a court case coming out of all of this to figure out, dapat bang iutang yung hindi kinita? Okay, let's go to that big, beautiful picture on the front page of the Philippine Star. That is the ongoing Belenismo Festival in the province of Tarlac. And the picture you see is a Belen or nativity scene on display in the town of Anao or Anyao or no, Anao, Tarlac, taken last Saturday. It is the entry of the town to the 2021 Belenismo sa Tarlac. And it is a competition organized by the Tarlac Heritage Foundation, and special mention to Dr. Isay Suntay, who has been the workhorse, the spirit, and the push to all of this. Congratulations through all the years that the Belenismo has continued to be staged in spite of all sorts of challenge, both economic and health crisis. Okay, now going back to the to these major stories in the front page. Roddy pushed go. Parang away sa playground yan. Roddy pushed go, says he can't support Bongbong. Once again, President Duterte expressed, shared that it was he who encouraged Senator Christopher Bongo to run for president because President Duterte could not support Bongbong Marcos or Manny Pacquiao. And the president even alluded to reasons why he did not like the other choices, and that he only trusted Bongo because he never claimed to solve the problems of the country, and that Bongo is trustworthy. Yun po ang statement daw ni Presidente Duterte. Going back to the story, DOH, only fully vaccinated people allowed in gyms. Okay, for those of you who operate gyms, who want to go back to the gym, who need desperately to go back to the gyms, please be advised that the DOH only allows fully vaccinated individuals to enter those facilities and be part of group exercises. Second, the DOH requires those facilities to have HEPA filters or proper ventilation to prevent the spread or any potential spread of virus or disease. Okay, yan po. That is for gyms. Okay. Kasi mag-outdoor exercise na lang kayo, mas mabilis pa kayong papawisan. Okay, now the front page COVID tally of Philippine cases. As of yesterday, the new cases were 1,926. So mukhang nagplateau. It seems to plateau in the 1,009 or 2,000 area. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, look at this number. 309 Filipinos died from COVID-19 over the weekend, and we shockingly breached into the 45,581 figure. Alam nyo po, yung 309 mamatay sa isang araw, normally splashed all over as the headline. Hindi po pag-uusapan yung mga politics na yan. This would already be the headline. But it seems that we have now just started to treat it as a daily tally. I refuse to do that. I will persist on reminding all of you, Filipinos are dying every day, and on the average are dying in the hundreds or 200s. And as of this weekend, 309 died, and that totals the number of dead Filipinos at 45,581 in nearly 2 years, less than 2 years. Okay, now let's go to that photo And if you are one of those who are shocked by those numbers, you might want to start getting on your knees and praying for the Lord's protection as these Catholics on in the picture attend Mass at the Diocesan Shrine and Parish of Our Lady of the Pillar in Imus Cathedral in Cavite yesterday. The province is under alert level 2, which allows 70% capacity for churches from November 15 to 30. Pakiusap lang po. Please, special request. If you're not feeling fine, if you have a cold or a slight cough, do not go out, even if you're fully vaccinated, especially if you're fully vaccinated, because I have heard of a report of a community where people were fully vaccinated, and they noticed that many people had a mild cough or a cold, and yung pala meron ng nahawahan ng virus pero hindi sila naririndi. They're not seriously affected, but someone who was only one dose vaccinated ended in in bed under close supervision. Okay, now let's go back to the other news. MMDA forms group to review mall protocols. Okay, the new general manager, Romando Artes of the MMDA, has announced that Chairman Benhar Abalos Dasan, okay, has ordered the MMDA to form a group to review mall protocols, especially with that uh, how do you call it? The sensational or sensationalized news or report of people on social media that a child contracted COVID-19 in the mall. Kumbaga kasi may mga bata, the children are not yet inoculated, vaccinated, but parents have been bringing them to malls. And now, the MMDA in Metro Manila, and I hope it happens all over the country, will form a task force to set down the rules regarding this, because we understand children need to go out, but they can go out to the beach, they can go out to the open field or to the parks, etc. They can ride on their bikes. Malls po, mga kaibigan, don't bring the kids to the malls. You know that they're not vaccinated and you don't want to put them where there is no sunlight, no way to exercise except with their mouths. Okay, let's go to the other stories. Okay, the CHED has announced that postgraduates of medicine, interns, clinical clerks, medical graduates of medicine, and who may not have taken the board exams yet, and nursing graduates who also may not have taken the board exams yet, are now to serve as vaccinators. Pwede na po sila. They will be welcomed as volunteer vaccinators for COVID-19. That's the announcement from the Commission on Higher Education. Okay, and last two pieces. Limited face shield used to get Duterte. Sorry. Okay. Empowering social enterprises. The Ayala Group Chairman, Jaime Augusto Sobel de Ayala, with other officials of the Ayala Group, led the ribbon cutting opening at the Trinoma Mall. Okay, the Ayala Trinoma Mall, wherein they showcase the Sinag Sari Sari Social Enterprise Store, a joint project of Alagang Ayala Land, BPI, Bayan Academy, that aims to support the growth of social enterprises, create livelihood jobs and jobs, and in aid in the country's road back to recovery. Okay. Next up, limited face shield. Itama mo na yan. Okay. Limited face shield used to get Duterte okay. Malacanang has announced that they expect President Rodrigo Duterte to approve the recommendations of the IATF for the limited use of face shield, meaning if you are in an area with level 5, alert level 5, sorry na lang, must wear face shield. Level 4, must wear face shield. But in level 3, 2, and 1, everything is voluntary except in health related premises or in areas where it is mandatory by virtue of medical protocols. Okay, last but not the least, the government, through Health Undersecretary Leopoldo Vega, said yesterday that the vaccine hesitancy, okay? Vaccine hesitancy o pag-aalinlangan ng mga Pilipino na magpabakuna has dropped from 35% down to 10% na laang. Okay, that is very good news, especially considering that those percentage reflect millions of Filipinos. Okay, so kung 10%, that is at least 11 million. Okay, kasi 11 million ba? We're 110 million daw. Okay? So 10% is 11 million pa rin na nagdadalawang isip. Please, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're fully vaccinated, I request please nag the people around you. In fact, this week, I already gave someone an ultimatum because everyone in our group is fully vaccinated, and this one individual persists on avoiding the vaccination. And when I asked him, is it for religious reason? He said no. I said, is it for medical reason? He said no. So what? Para ka palang manok, pak, 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 chicken. Anyway, hindi ko po tinatawag na pangit like someone else. No, but it is out of love that we must persist in telling the people around us to get vaccinated. Because, if these people get sick, guess who they're going to call if they need help to buy oxygen, medicines, ambulance, etc. It will also be the people in their circle, and you are one of them. Okay, so ang sabi nga nila, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Okay, special announcement today. Our guest is none other than Sara. Naku, napakaswerte ko. Pumayag si Sara magpa-interview. Okay? So we will ask her all the questions. Not about politics, but about education and the fact that dahil hindi naman po politika itong Sara na ito. Our Sara, who will be our guest for today, is the Chief Operating Officer of Operation Brotherhood Montessori Center Incorporated, or OB Montessori. She is a fellow columnist in the Philippine Star. She is a farmer like her mother. She comes from a family of educator, veteran journalist, dahil ang tatay po niya ay yung aming bossing si Manong Max Soliven. Okay, ang nanay niya ay si Ambassador ba yun? Preciosa Soliven. Anyway, our guest for today has obtained a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at the Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California, finishing cum laude lang naman. Okay, De Guzman, she's now married, and but Sara finished her master's in education, major in curriculum studies at the University of the Philippines. And okay, let's now bring in none other than Sara Francesca Soliven-de Guzman. Okay ba yung intro?
I know, Cito, grabe naman. What a Monday morning for all of us. Good morning, everyone.
I have you had your two aspirins and gone to bed early?
Yeah, parang I
Okay.
couldn't sleep nga eh.
Yeah, well, I had nightmares, but I decided to get out of bed at 5 in the morning. In any case, thank you for joining us today. And as I announced earlier, Sarah, the reason is we opted to focus on education, and especially because today marks the supposed to be the day when the DepEd will try the face-to-face ano man tawag nun,
Pilot.
pilot, no? Pilot. So sabi ko, kunin natin si Sara because she understands all of that. But before I forget, aside from all of those achievements in your life, cum laude, educator, columnist, di ba colonel ka rin?
Commodore. I'm a Commodore of the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary Unit. So,
Ayun, okay,
akala ko
Commodore.
Master General daw.
Okay, sorry, hindi ko na naintindihan yung mga ranking na yan. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on today's main event in education regarding face-to-face classes? How do you're also a columnist, so how would you assess it or respond to the program?
Okay, so first let's make it clear that this is a pilot study done by DepEd. And they're very clear also that the pilot will include the trial period from this time, I think up to January, and then it ends, and then they're going to come up with an evaluation. Okay, so it's not really yet like a permanent exercise or everyone will be asked to go to school na. This is a pilot that they're using to study, okay, the
Mm,
possibility of going back to face, maybe for next school year. Okay, so what DepEd did was they chose 100 schools and then 20 private schools, okay, to try this, to be part of this pilot. Now, I think that the schools they chose are those in different risk areas, no? Mostly on
mhm.
the low risk areas, okay, where children can walk to school, okay? And
Okay.
then they also um, specify that there can only be 10 children for kindergarten, okay, 15 children for grade 1 to 3, and then 20 children, okay, per classroom from grade school to high school. Okay? So, I'm just
Yeah.
viewing the things that I read about this pilot project. Okay?
Okay. Now, yeah, go ahead.
So now um the the point that we need to consider here is the difference between public schooling and private schooling. Okay? Kasi
Mm-hmm. Okay.
syempre sa public, advantage yung pumasok na sila. Bakit advantage? Kasi mahina yung internet nila. Wala naman
Mm-hmm.
silang equipment, 'di ba? Advantage yung sa platform ha, pero hindi advantage health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Medyo crucial yung decision do'n or yung magiging concern natin diyan.
May
Ngayon,
kapalit.
may kapalit 'yan. Ngayon dito
Mm-hmm.
naman sa, private, siyempre di kotse yung mga ano, mga bata diyan, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Not all, but I'm saying is majority, may kotse, tapos may internet systems nila, malakas naman yun sa bahay nila, they can afford. So parang there's a tendency for the parents in the private from private schools parang to say, "Teka muna, we have to take it slow. Okay, let's not do it abruptly. Okay, so yun, there are two groups there.
Okay, now, what is your assessment? Because kayo, you have a private school. You have, I believe, six branches or six campuses.
Yeah, we have five campuses
Okay,
around Metro Manila and one in Angeles City.
okay. Now, so you have a campus in Santa Ana, Manila. You have, I think, your main campus in Green Hills, San Juan. You have one in Angeles City in Pampanga, and then you have one in Las Piñas City. And
Yeah.
where's the fifth one?
Um, Fairview, Quezon
Okay, in
City.
Quezon City. In Quezon City. Now, how how has this lockdown, etc., what has this forced your group to do in order to continue with the education of the students? Kasi sabi mo nga, may kaya, pwede naman magpakabit ng internet, but that doesn't change the fact that OB Montessori, your group, has to continue with the education and innovate the teaching modality.
Yeah, Sito, when we entered this online platform, we really took it seriously. We had to prepare the school for the teachers and the staff to make sure that they're safe. Mahirap kasi rin magturo from home. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Nagiging lax yung teacher, nagiging complacent. Tapos, nadidistract rin siya. So, ang ginawa namin, we set up the classrooms to make them classroom studios para strong yung wifi, very clear, pati yung lighting, everything inayos namin bago kami online platform. And then, trinain pa namin yung mga teachers for that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kasi it's not naman, who trained for online classes except for the university level, di ba? So from
Mm-hmm.
kindergarten to high school, this was unheard of before. So anyway, teachers need to be trained how to handle children online, how to speak to them, okay, how to properly guide them and monitor them, okay, how to do assessments, how to do quizzes or tests. So lahat yan, pinag-aralan yan. Ngayon, nagkaroon tayo ng MECQ, nagkaroon tayo ng ECQ. So ngayon, lahat ng teachers, up to this point, pinapa-work ko sa house kasi, kahit na naka-work sila from home, nagkakasakit pa rin. May mga
Mm-hmm.
COVID cases pa rin. So, anong preparation pang ginawa namin? Yung curriculum, inayos talaga namin yan.
Yeah,
Kasi,
I was going to ask you that, Sarah, kasi the curriculum for face to face must be very different from curriculums for online because yung mga na-interview ko mga college students regarding yung academic break, they were saying even the professors, their teachers were
yeah.
getting burned out because they literally had to make PowerPoint presentations weekly. Sabi ko, ano kanyo? Ay ako, pag gumagawa ako ng PowerPoint presentation para sa mga estudyante ko noon, nasisira ulo ko dahil, it takes a lot of work and you prepare for about a month for just one weekend session. And this one, lingguhan daw. What did you have to do for the curriculum?
Well, first we had to establish the schedule, no? So for kindergarten, hindi pwedeng lumampas ng 2 hours yan. Okay?
Mm.
For primary, siguro 1.3, 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours lang per day. And then, pag intermediate, yung mga grade 4 to 5, kaya naman nila yung 3 hours. Sa high school, kaya na nila yung 4 to 5 hours. Ganon. So, alam namin yung limited time namin, limited hours per day. Tapos, inayos namin yung curriculum kasi importante na yung skills ng level na yon makuha pa rin nila. Okay?
Mhm.
Yung skills tsaka yung values, everything dapat makuha pa rin nila kahit na online. Yun nga, Sito, yung worry ko dito sa face-to-face. First of
Okay.
all, wala pa tayong solusyon. wala pa tayong gamot. Hindi naman 'to dengue, hindi naman 'to regular flu. It's still COVID, and the scientists and doctors have not found a medicine to cure it yet.
Mhm.
So there's still COVID in the air. Okay, so
Okay.
I've studied this. I constantly check, okay, in Europe and Southeast Asia, even in Japan, Singapore, and America. I have friends there, educator friends. I ask them. So they have face to face, pero their learning is so disrupted. Why? Because when they go to school and then one child in the class has COVID, okay, they have
Mhm.
a break. They send every kid home. Okay, these are most of the parents who I interviewed, and my
Yeah.
colleagues. They send the children home and then they stay for 14 to 21 days isolated. So what happens to learning? It's disrupted. So ako as an educator, at this point, I would rather have online, okay, because learning is not disrupted. And then I'm going to encourage the parents to just bring their children out, like what you said earlier, to the beach, to the
Mm.
park, where they can protect themselves, di ba? And then
Mhm.
maybe they can also create bubbles with their cousins or their close friends who they trust para there's social interaction happening. So,
Okay.
ang mangyayari kasi, if we don't have the cure, we're gonna go parang, okay, today may pasok, bukas wala. Today may pasok, bukas wala. Hindi mo rin kilala yung mga bata dyan sa loob ng classroom, tsaka yung mga teachers, saan sila nanggaling, may carrier ba sila?
Mm.
Ay, nako.
Okay.
Meron pa, isa pa, Sito, sorry isa pa.
Yeah, yeah.
Siyempre na-experience na natin yung nagkakasakit sa COVID. Nakikita natin yung mga tao na vulnerable at nakikita natin yung strong yung kanilang immune system. Okay? Ganun rin naman sa bata. May mga bata na very strong yung immune system nila, pero may mga bata na mahina. So paano mo malalaman kung pinapasok mo lang, nag-ano lang sila, parang, yeah, I want to go to face-to-face pilot study. Pero what about their immune system? Are they ready? Eh dito pa nga sa mall, ngayon pa lang sila form ng group para sa COVID protocols. Eh dito sa naman sa face-to-face, parang they're okay? Are they really okay?
Okay. Sarah, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask you about the outcome of online education. Kasi may naisip lang ako, mukhang nahawahan na ako o na-impluensyahan na ako ng creativity philosophy ng Obi Montessori. May tatanong ako sa'yo. But first, let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and joining us today is Sara Soliven-de Guzman, my fellow columnist in the Philippine Star, and the president and CEO of Montessori. Ngayon ko lang na-get, Sara, na yung OB sa OB Montessori stands for Operation Brotherhood. So sabi ko, parang iba. What in any case, no? But let me go to my question. Because while you were talking and while I was thinking about the different philosophy and creative orientation of OB Montessori, it occurred to me, what has been the outcome of online education? Kasi, 'di ba, in face to face, ewan ko ikaw mas bata ka sa akin, ang laki ng pagkabata mo sa akin. But in my generation, everything was memory. You memorize everything and then you were tested primarily on your ability to remember facts, figures, and formulas. And then last would be your critical thinking. Now, but when you go to real life doesn't prevent you from going to the library, going to the internet, going to resource person. Kumbaga, yung what would be considered cheating in my generation is actually the way things are done in business. So sa online, there is no such thing as no cheating, no copying, no looking at your resource. I suppose there is access. What has been the outcome of this form of education? Does it now prepare our children to the real world better than we were prepared for it?
Okay, so when we entered the online platform, okay, hopefully for all schools, they prepared and planned, okay, and studied it carefully. In fact, if they did that, then they would have seen that the overcrowded curriculum would have been streamlined already because you really put in the most essential, okay, elements of learning. Okay. Now, before you go online, you can't just choose naman, mag-Google ako, Google Meet link ako, mag-Zoom ako, or I'll get another platform. You really have to study the platform that you're going to use. Fortunately, in OB Montessori, we have a wonderful platform made by a young Filipino entrepreneur. It's called Orange Apps. And he created this educational platform that would help us in all the areas of online education. So we have virtual classrooms, we have virtual notebooks, okay? And then when they have quizzes or exercises, they can do it online and automatically it gets checked right away.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the main thing muna, no, yung technology that you're using. Next, sa online, nag-change yung curriculum tsaka yung program. No? Hindi ko rin alam kung paano ginawa sa ibang schools, pero sa OB, ang ginawa namin, we we made sure na mas maraming oral recitation, mas maraming discussion, okay? And also, since nasa bahay sila, okay, we kind of relate, intermarried, or we combined what they see at home and in their lessons. So it became a more practical type of learning, okay, from fixing your room in kindergarten, helping mother in the kitchen, baking and selling, mga ganyan, or
Mhm.
checking the lights, your Meralco bill and PLDT bills, or, yung mga ganyan, helping mother and father save, economize, um, doing waste management systems at home, gardening, planting, yung mga ganyan. So, mas naging practical, mas naging dynamic, okay, and mas maraming discussion. And dito natitrain dapat yung teacher na wag siya yung laging magsasalita. Dapat
Mhm.
ang bata ang pinagbibigyan, no, ng pagkakataon na magsalita at mag-express ng sarili. Ganon.
Mhm. And how have the children adapted to it? Kasi it's a very novel idea na ngayon lang ako nakadinig ng school na sasabihin yung mga bata, okay, tomorrow please bring your or show your Meralco bill or your PLDT bill. Tapos meron pa kayong plantito, plantita episode.
Yes,
Okay.
we have kasi an agriculture program noon pa. Even when I
Mm,
was a student myself, very strong yung OB Montessori sa agriculture, no? Taking care of plants and animals. So it really wasn't new to them. We even have a uniform for that. We have a subject for that. So it's not just planting, it's taking care of the plants. It's making fertilizer from organic waste. Yung mga ganyan, it's taking
mm.
care of plants, animals. So the point here is we need to make education relevant and
Okay.
learning
Now,
relevant to the children.
I noticed in the video or in the slides that the kids or the individuals present were all wearing uniform. Is
Yes.
this part of the OB Montessori discipline? Is this part of the concept of
Yeah,
consistency?
there's a concept of order. You know,
Hmm.
we have the teachers in the classrooms, they have several goals, no. We have the so-called fruits of normalization, where we want the children to develop 7 fruits: order, obedience, friendliness, love for work, silence, independence, yung mga ganyan, and joy. So part of we're still in an edge, we're still in this period of learning, we're still teaching the children to become. So part of that is to help them develop an inner discipline for
Okay.
themselves. So for us, very important yung pagpasok mo, maayos yung buhok mo, nakasipilyo ka na, maayos yung mukha mo, naka-uniforme ka, planchado, yung mga
Mhm.
gamit mo. May notebook pa rin kami, may mga pencil, ganyan. Meron pa rin yan. Kailangan yan, part and parcel yan ng education, especially basic education. There are many parents, they're saying, kailangan ba yan? Importante ba yan? Naka-online na nga. They ignore the part of the importance of helping this child develop and become a man of the future, a young
Mhm.
adult,
Well,
a good citizen.
I know your father, Max Sullivan, Manong Max, was a stickler for appearance.
Yeah.
In fact, the story goes that one time the star received an award and someone went to receive it, pero dumating yata na naka collared shirt lang yung bata dahil parang nautusan lang siya, didn't realize that he needed to put a long sleeves when he went to Manong Max. Boy, he got a dressing down.
Pinipilit.
Napagalitan siya. So, I really get that point. So, other
Because
than that,
meron lang, sorry ha, may
yeah.
sasabihin lang ako tungkol doon. Ang importante kasi doon yung dignidad ng bata, yung dignidad ng mga tao. Dito
Mhm,
sa Pilipinas, yung mga mahihirap, hindi na nila naiisip yon. Yung daddy ko, lumaki sa hirap at
mhm.
importante sa kanila na magkaroon ng dignidad, self-dignity. So, to be properly dressed, to be properly groomed, okay, will earn the respect of other people. And that's what we're trying to educate our young people.
Okay, so yan po message dun sa mga nag-o-online, mga nag-a-appear sa TV na naka-shorts dahil sinasabi nila, total online naman. Ako po, I am part of that generation that, people still ask me, Sito, you can be casual. I said, no, I will still wear my pants and I will still wear a shirt because it's expected of me. Anyway, Sarah, let's go for a quick break. When we return, let's talk about the future. What do you think is ahead in terms of this education program, and what should parents prepare themselves for? We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda, and with us is the President and COO of Operation Brotherhood Montessori, or OB Montessori, Sara Soliven-de Guzman. Sara, a lot of parents are probably, wondering how will things change after December. Because syempre, nag-level 1 na kayo dyan sa NCR, kami hindi pa naman, level 2 pa yata kayo. Kami, level 2 na rin dito sa Batangas. And people are wondering, how do we prepare for the education of our children? Do you honestly believe that we will soon be going face-to-face, or will it be another 6 months?
Okay, with the things happening and the development happening here in our country today, okay, I really don't see that face-to-face will be successful within this school year. If ever, if we prepare right now, like what DepEd is doing, they're doing a pilot study, and that's important. We need data, we need to observe, and we need to evaluate. Okay, so that may experience that we can work on. So I feel that next school year, okay, there is a possibility. But ako, I would rather na, Sito, unahin muna kaya natin yung mga tao na nagtatrabaho sa bahay. Tignan natin.
Meaning?
Di ba? I mean, there are many people working from home and they are adults. Okay? So, why can't they work in their offices? Why won't they work? Because it's more practical? Because para makatipid sila? Okay? But yeah, there are work positions that you can really work from home. Pero meron work na hindi ka talaga makaka-work from home. You have to be forced to go to the workplace. So, dun ba fully, yung mga yon naka-full capacity na ba sila? Parang tignan natin yung aspect rin na yan. Kasi ang ginagawa natin, bata ka agad. E paano? Let's start from the older ones, then let's go little by little, slowly down to the younger ones. So after the workplace, what about shed? What are they doing? Why don't we, dapat nga sila muna yung tinestran eh. Pagkatapos ng college, dapat senior high school.
Where
Senior
where
high school
yeah
na.
where are we as far as a vaccination program for students are concerned? Kasi noon ko pa yan sinasabi, about a month ago I already suggested that to the CHED, that if we want our college kids back in the universities, we need to give them the vaccines, and yet parang floating in the air pa rin yun. Has anything moved forward?
I have not heard anything about CHED's program. Okay? So, only DepEd. So, maybe there are, I know before, pumasok na yung konti yung mga sa nasa medical field, yung mga kailangan mag-practicum or mag-intern, medyo nakapasok na pero hindi pa full. Okay? Ang susunod sito, 'di ba, yung kasi I have I have three children, okay? One 18-year-old, and then naka-vaccine na siya. Napasok siya dun sa last month or 2 months ago. Kasi parang adult na siya eh, 18. So, nabigyan ko na siya ng vaccine. Tapos na siya, na-complete niya yung 2 dose. Pero yung dalawa, okay, ang tagal kong nangungulit, hinahanap ko sa mga doktor, Okay, pati dun sa Soler, 'di ba, meron sila or sa LGU, wala pa, hindi pa daw pwede. Finally, a week or 2 weeks ago, naging official. That's only a week ago. And then now they're talking of this pilot. Parang kulang yung preparation nun. Takot ako na yung mga papasok dyan sa pilot, hindi pa yan fully vaccine. And
Mhm.
meron pang issue about the parents. There's some parents, they don't like their children to be vaccinated.
Okay.
Di ba?
Well,
So, ang
I, I
daming complications dito.
I guess we will be talking about this again after this school year is over. And then,
Yeah.
the meantime, Sarah, I will be looking forward to reading your pieces and also speaking to you on Facebook. Have a good day. Thank you for joining us today.
Maraming salamat, Cito, and see you soon.
Okay, that's Sara Soliven-de Guzman, President COO of OB Montessori. And for this week, I leave you with this blessing. I pray, beloved, that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health and it goes well with your soul. From the third book of John, chapter 1, verse 2. Yan po ang aking dasal para sa inyo, na lahat ay maging maayos at lahat po ay maging matagumpay sa inyong mga ginagawa. Thank you for joining us here on Agenda, and please keep it here on One News PH.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The political rigodon continues as the last day of withdrawals and substitutions begins. Let's get the latest on the ground from Greg Gregorio, who is now reporting to us live from Comelec in Intramuros, Manila. Good morning, Greg. It's a big day today. What do you have for us so far?
Charles, today is the deadline set by the Commission on Elections for the withdrawals of candidacies and substitutions for aspirants in relation to the 2022 elections. And as of Saturday, 13 individuals have already withdrawn their candidacies and 4 have already filed substitutions. The most recent among those who have withdrawn their COCs are Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bongo as presidential and vice presidential hopefuls of PDP Laban. Both of them were even accompanied by no less than President Duterte last Saturday. But Senator Go did not only withdraw, he also filed his substitution as presidential aspirant under Federalismo ng Dugong Dakilang Samahan or PDDS, replacing its previous presidential bet Grepor Belgica. The previous presidential and vice presidential tandem of Lakas CMD party, meanwhile, Ana Capella Velasco and Lyle Uy have also withdrawn their candidacies. Uy's withdrawal of candidacy for vice president opened a window for the much expected substitution of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, though it was far from many people's hopes that the presidential daughter would be running as president. Meanwhile, some of the developments we're watching today include the withdrawal of candidacy for Senator Paulo Capino under Partido Democratico. This will pave the way for the substitution of former PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar, who is also joining the senatorial slate of the Lacson-Soto tandem. Charles, since the Comelec opened its process this morning, only Moro Ako OK party list has filed substitutions for some of their nominees so far. But above all, what we're waiting to see is if President Rodrigo Duterte will indeed come back here at Comelec main office, because on Saturday he mentioned that he might be filing a substitution for vice presidential bid today. It is unclear, though, if the president will be running under PDP Laban or he will be also joining the PDDS and making a tandem with Senator Bongo. Charles?
Thanks for that, Greg. We'll surely check in with you again during the day. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Intramuros. Presidential aspirant and Senator Manny Pacquiao belies claims that he went to Malacanang uninvited to meet with President Duterte. Pacquiao says he was only informed of the invitation to go to Malacanang for the meeting by his friend and Congressman Eric Pineda. The senator clarifies that it was not him who asked for a schedule to meet with the president, and he says he accepted the invitation to show respect to Duterte. Pacquiao admits, however, that Duterte also appeared surprised by Pacquiao's presence in the palace. The presidential aspirant says he did not ask for the Duterte's endorsement, but he did tell the president that he wants his successor to also be from Mindanao.
Sino ba naman ako na tatanggi sa patawag ng Pangulo? Bilang respeto sa kanya, dahil Pangulo siya. Sabi ko, sige. Bakit? Sabi ko, bakit ang pag-usapan? Basta may pag-usapan daw. Sabi ko sa kanya, maganda sana kung ang susunod na presidente ay taga Mindanao pa rin. Sabi ko sa kanya, para mapatuloy ang development ng Mindanao at saka Visayas.
Former Senator Bongbong Marcos believes that he and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte formed the strongest tandem in 2022 elections. In an interview on SMNI News Channel's Point of Order, Marcos admitted that he earlier wanted to adopt President Rodrigo Duterte as his vice presidential candidate. But because the president did not file his candidacy, the plan changed. And still, Marcos believes that teaming up with Sara is also a good choice, as she is also a Duterte. And he also insists that he and the presidential daughter will have a good working relationship should they both win the elections.
Kung si Inday Sara man, di BBM Duterte pa rin. Di napakalakas pa rin nun. And that would be a very, very good team to campaign for at maganda ang pag-asa namin sa darating na halalan. Kung matuloy man at kami nga ay mas swertein at maging mapalad dito sa halalan, ay pagdating natin sa administrasyon ay maganda rin ang aming relasyon, maganda rin ang aming working relationship. Yes, so I think we can do good work together.
Meanwhile, the camp of presidential aspirant and Vice President Leni Robredo remains unfazed with the recent substitutions among administration-allied candidates. OVP spokesperson Barry Gutierrez tells the radio program Biserbisyong Leni that the Vice President is not breaking a sweat, as she has already expected this substitution drama. Robredo urges her supporters to just relax, to focus on preparations for the campaign.
Alam na naman natin na yung mga kanyang klaseng drama, yung talagang pipigain at aabusuhin yung proseso ng substitution, hindi na yan bago. Sa pananaw ni VP Leni, ang importante, tutok tayo sa ating kampanya. Tutok tayo sa lalong pagpapalakas ng ating hanay. Relax lang, yun ang kanyang mensahe. Di ba? Huwag tayong mabahala dito. Alam naman natin mangyayari ito eh. Cool lang tayo.
Some vice presidentiables also shared their sentiments over the recent substitution drama among administration-allied bets. Buhay Party List Representative Lito Atienza says it's an honor to be running against Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte and also possibly against her father, President Rodrigo Duterte. However, he believes that the substitution tactic makes a mockery of the electoral process, describing it as the worst that can happen to a democracy. Atienza also says last-minute substitutes are merely fooling the Filipino people and that the system only keeps those with money and with strong political connections in power.
Hindi mangyayari ito kung matino ang ating demokrasya. We have to reconsider now the political provisions of the present constitution to allow to restore the two-party system and support a strong party politics in our system para hindi mangyari itong pamilya na lang ang mag-uusap at kung sino yung mga may pera at may hawak na power. We have to wake up to reality. If this continues, mawawala ang demokrasya sa atin.
Meanwhile, Senate President Tito Soto says he doesn't want to comment about the political rigodon, as he and his running mate, Senator Ping Lacson, want to focus on their own platforms. He believes there is a proper venue to discuss their opinions about this issue, but Soto also revealed that talks are ongoing in the Senate for possible amendments to the Omnibus Election Code to prevent abuse of the substitution rule.
There are three ways of substitution eh. Isa yung pag namatay, yung isa kapag disqualify, saka yung pangatlo kung gustong mag-substitution within a party. May pinag-uusapan namin sa Senado ngayon, hindi ko alam kung anong ang pulso sa House of Representatives, no? Pero sa Senado, pinag-uusapan namin ngayon, baka alisin yung pangatlo. Palagay ko doon sa pangatlo para hindi mga maabuso. Kung ikaw desidido ka, prepared ka, mag-file ka na.
Meanwhile, Senator Kiko Pangilinan says the recent last-minute substitutions did not come as a surprise for him and Vice President Leni Robredo. He is still expecting more substitutions filed ahead of today's deadline, but he says that whatever happens, their tandem will simply focus on preparing for their own campaign. Formerly executives Mohit and Twinkle Dargani have been arrested in Davao City. This was confirmed by Senate Sergeant-at-Arms Rene Samonte. Samonte says the Dargani siblings are now detained at the Senate. Recall that they were cited in contempt by the upper chamber for refusing to submit subpoena documents from their firm. It's just a prank. The supposed stealing of the MOA Globe turns out to be nothing but a PR stunt. Recall that on Saturday night, the iconic MOA Globe was reportedly stolen following dashcam videos of a helicopter supposedly taking the globe away. The Mall of Asia even released a statement saying they were coordinating with authorities and that the public has nothing to worry about. And many netizens thought the stunt was an IKEA-related promotion. But turns out it was a promo for Red Notice, the latest Netflix film starring The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. Lea Salonga, Efren Bata Reyes, and Josie Natorin are They're just some of the living legends Philpost has chosen to commemorate in celebration of their 75th anniversary. Ryan Ang with the story.
As early as 8 a.m., stamp collectors started to fall in line outside the Central Post Office in Manila last Saturday to avail of the limited edition stamps released by Philpost.
Yung stamp po kasi small window para sa ating history. Kumbaga, worth it to collect talaga siya. It's a dying industry na po yung stamp collecting eh. So, kumbaga parang sa mga batang henerasyon na kagaya namin, gusto namin ma-promote na yung stamp collecting. Worth it pa naman po talaga.
Pagpunta ako because of Lea Salonga. I'm a big fan of Lea Salonga. Ang importante magkaroon lang po ako ng mga stamp.
Philpost launched the commemorative stamps of 10 world-renowned Filipino legends who made a mark in different fields. This includes Jordan Clarkson, Lea Salonga, Paine Pomoceno, Eugene Torre, Efren Bata Reyes, Josina Turin, Diosdado Banataw, Kenneth Cobonpue, Monique Luwelier, and the mascot of Jollibee.
Actually, inuna na natin si Robert Jaworski for the Outstanding Filipinos. Kasi yung word na living legend, siya yung original holder nun eh. Before we launch this series, we want to give honor first to the original living legend. Thereafter, after this world-renowned, next month will be Outstanding Filipinos. And then, the Never Forgotten.
The issue once is the first in the Living Legend World-Renowned Filipinos Series 1. Nepomuceno and Torre were present at the launch, while Reyes was represented by fellow billiards champion Django Bustamante.
This is something special, and I'll always cherish this award, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime honor, and this is a tribute not only to myself but to the Filipino people, and I also congratulate my fellow honorees today.
Very much honored, syempre, no? Kumbaga sa chess, surprise but very pleasant move, no? And I believe this will really further promote ang Philippines and yung mga good representation ng Philippines na po-promote.
Salonga also delivered a message through video call.
When I was first told that this was going to happen, I think the most excited person about this was my mom. She said, "Anak, they're going to commemorate you on a stamp. This is a big deal. Do you know how big of a deal it is?" And I'm actually aware of how big of a deal it is.
The Philpost also presented tribute videos showcasing the honorees as they tell their success stories to serve as an inspiration to the public.
They conquered international competitions, global industries, and multinational brands, not only by sheer talents, but with their Filipino values, sipag, tiyaga, malasakit, pagmamahal sa bayan, at higit sa lahat, pananampalataya sa Diyos. Hindi po talaga mapapantayan ang kanilang naiambag sa pag-angat ng ating bansa.
They also want to encourage the youth to take interest in our culture. Philpost released 21,500 stamps of each honorees. They also released first day cover and postcards. For News 5, Ryan Ang, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. Bongbong Marcos and Senate President Tito Soto topped the presidential and VP race in a commissioned SWS survey. Vice President Leni Robredo, on the other hand, is seeing an increase in her numbers and now ranks higher than Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. As his former aide, Senator Bongo, files his COC for president, the chief executive declares he's not supporting the presidential bid of former Senator Bongbong Marcos. And retired PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar is running for senator under the lineup of another former top cop, Senator Ping Lacson. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 10:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Cignal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.